Hello, I'm still not Corey, and I'm also still getting hate comments, so I thought it would be fun to put them in a tier list today. But before we get into doing that, go down to the comments and just leave something nice. A compliment for someone else, a compliment for me if you'd like, a compliment for yourself. Just go down to the comments and leave something positive. And also go and check out my merch. You could get it at normalcitizen.store. You can check out my Patreon or leave a one-time donation at my PayPal at paypal.me/notcorry. That would also be very cool. Okay, let's start the video. Okay, so the first comment. I see the stupidity is rampant. Sorry, clown, but a human pincushion like yourself is way out of his league. I do like how you can't come up with anything of your own and you need to be a maggot and use others to get views. Well done. I like these kinds of comments. So this kind of comment it's a couple kind of comments put into one. First off, pincushion, I assume because of the piercings. I don't care. I like my piercings, that's why I get them. But the main focus of this comment is that I only use other people's content to make my own content. And I understand people saying that because on my second channel, that is primarily what I do. However, on my main channel, not so much. I write essays and stuff there, I talk about movies and things as well. I do a few different things. And then there's my podcast where I teach people about science stuff every week and have conversations with my friends surrounding that. I do a lot of different things, so yeah. Kind of boring hate comment. So let's look. Which one is it? Boring. Please try harder. It's boring. Try harder. Have a look and see what I actually do. Don't just make a judgment from this single video that you've seen. You soft little girl. You're known for being a soft, woke, they, them, crotch-sniffing child. Joe is better than Corey any day ever. And then I went back and said, where are you getting that I'm a they, them? And they said, gender's a spectrum. I go by Z here. Call me this or you are a bigot. Now, this falls into the category of hate comments from people assuming I'm trans, which I found really interesting. It's just interesting that people see my videos where I say, hey, be nice to trans people, and they assume that because I'm making those videos, I must be trans. I have to come out and say this. I'm not trans, so I guess I have to put this in. Fuck me, this makes no sense. Just the guy's comment, the fact that he's like gender's a spectrum, and I'm like, no, dude, I'm not saying that I'm not a they them and I'm something else. I'm saying I'm a he him, probably like you. But this guy, he doesn't want to listen. He's decided that I'm this kind of person that he doesn't like, and he refuses to engage, and so he's just gonna try and insult me. Unfortunately, it doesn't work because he's not insulting me. I do love that people call me a soft little girl as well. Like there are lots of comments talking about how feminine I am and all of that sort of stuff, and I don't care. I don't care. I know how I look. I know how I am. So if you think that I'm feminine and soft and like a girl, then I guess I enjoy being feminine and soft and like a girl. Who cares, man? The next comment. Steven Crowder is intelligent. You are not. It's nice of you to give him attention. Now more people are aware of him. You should ask to go on his show. Challenge him to a debate. You can laugh the whole time while he speaks in actual words. Words that make sense. His word challenge views. Some people like to exercise their brains. If people don't agree with his views, he's doing his job. At least his jokes are not mainstream and basic. They're not mainstream because they were mainstream maybe 20 years ago, and they're just outdated. Do you have any jokes? I assume you do, since you laugh at yourself constantly. So annoying and obviously jealous. Okay, this is a lot of comments. There are lots of comments like this. I chose this one because it covers so many different things. People come in and talk about Steven Crowder being intelligent. I say that he's not funny. I genuinely think Steven Crowder is not funny, and not just from I don't personally find him funny. I have listened to the jokes that he's made, and they're not jokes. There's no joke construction in there. He tends to just say something bigoted and elicit a laugh out of his audience by saying something that he shouldn't, but they kind of agree with. I don't think just shitting on marginalized groups is really all that good comedy, but whatever. I think it's funny that he calls himself a comedian, but isn't very funny. And so people have a go at me and say, well, you're not funny. I don't think you're funny. I don't call myself a comedian, my guy. I've never once said that I'm funny for anyone else but myself. I think I am fucking hilarious because I am my audience when I make jokes and I know what I like. People also ask me to debate Steven Crowder or Joe Rogan or Ben Shapiro, and I say the same thing to them every time. You could go ahead and set that up. If you set that up, sure, I'll do it. I just why would I go out of my way to do that? Why? Like what benefit is there to me to do that? And I love that he's saying that I make more people aware of Steven Crowder, as though Steven Crowder isn't many times more famous than I am, which is why I feel comfortable talking about his work, because I don't feel like I'm going to be broadcasting it to more people that haven't heard of him. This is just all around a really good comment. I feel like I kind of want to put this actually kind of funny or solid and genuinely hilarious. Actually kind of funny because I'm laughing. I think I'm laughing at this person rather than laughing with them. If I was laughing with them because they've actually said something about me that I find quite funny, then I'd put it in solid, genuinely hilarious. But this goes in actually kind of funny. The next comment is a very simple one. Steven Crowder gets more views in 10 minutes than you have your entire YouTube career. Now, this is a fun one for me because it's always, you know, trying to talk down to me and being like, you get less views than the people you talk about. Yeah, I do. Yeah, this is my job, and so getting more views is good because it translates into me generally doing better in my career. But I'm not going to put myself up against Steven Crowder, who's got an entirely different route to this than I do, is a good bit older than me, and has as much money behind him as he does. Like, I just don't care. These comments are boring to me. Did you even try? Did you even try? Yeah, you saw that Steven Crowder was more famous than me and you thought you'd insult me based on that? Come on, man, that's no effort whatsoever. Next comment. Who in the Irish Mexican LGBTQTIAAAA is going on here? And this one okay. I think my laughter makes it evident that this one is in solid, genuinely hilarious. Irish, Mexican, neither of those. You're saying my accent doesn't match my skin color, but getting both of those wrong? Like, so many Americans call me Mexican because they don't know where to place me, despite the fact that I'm in Britain and I've been here for my entire life. I have a Scottish accent, by the way, not Irish, Scottish accent. It seems unlikely that I would be Mexican. Oh god, the acronym one it always gets me. It always gets me because all you need to do is LGBT+. It's funny to me when jokes like that are made to sort of belittle queer people or LGBT+ people because of the length of an acronym. I'll make fun of the length of the acronym because I think it's funny that an acronym just gets longer and longer and longer. I understand why, because more people want to be included visibly in the acronym, and that's totally fine. I'm not laughing at that at all. But a long, sometimes unwieldy acronym can be funny. I get that. Next one. I'm sure your parents are embarrassed. My generation is embarrassing. Kind of a running theme throughout this one. This is very pick-me energy, you know, like my generation is embarrassing. Meh. I'm a big believer in, you know, don't kill the part of you that is cringe, kill the part of you that cringes. If you're embarrassed by me being in your generation, grow up, I guess. This is what I find really interesting about YouTube comments, because there was a period of my life where YouTube comments were genuinely sort of bothersome to me. Like, a negative YouTube comment could actually affect my sort of mood in a negative way. But I've kind of grown into myself a lot. Being in that position just with self-esteem and whatnot, YouTube comments really don't have an effect on me. That kind of hate and harassment that I get from people, it's just funny to me. Like, it's genuinely fun. So this one, where does it go? I mean, it's pick me, so it's boring and please try harder. Next one, but your opinion on it doesn't really count because you're not black. This is this is a common one. So people often try to tell me that I'm not black because I'm mixed race. Some people think that that makes you not black, but ultimately my experiences aren't really that of a white person, so I can't really be considered as wholly white. But they are much more aligned with people that are black. Obviously my skin is a lot lighter, so there's differences in that there, but that kind of falls under colorism. I don't think it makes sense to not class me as black. At least in the culture and country that I'm from, I'm very much black. I've always been black. You know, growing up, I was never mixed race, I was always black. And that wasn't a label that I demanded for myself. That was a label that was put on me. And so it's the label that I identify with. I can be both mixed race and black. But it's weird that people don't consider me as mixed race, black, and also white. It's just mixed race and black. It's almost as though people view if you add anything to whiteness, then they're no longer really all that white. And I'm gonna say it now, I'm reclaiming my white identity. White pride. No, yeah, look, I'm mixed race, but I'm also black. That's just how it works where I'm from, and telling me that I'm not black doesn't have any utility. And the interesting thing is that this sometimes comes from black people. And obviously the overwhelming majority of black people that I've met in my life have had no issue with me referring to myself as black. There's a tiny, tiny minority who have a problem with it. But it's really interesting to see what they say about it. They always try and push me away from blackness because my skin is too light and all of that sort of stuff. But ultimately, when you kind of break down and tear into it, it doesn't add up. But because race is socially constructed and there's kind of arbitrary dividing lines between black and not black, sometimes it doesn't really make much sense. For example, the question that I would usually ask people is that if I'm mixed race and I have a kid with a black person, is my kid black or are they still mixed race? And at what point, if all of my descendants had children with black people, at what point would my descendants be black again? The real question for these people is, what percentage of not black makes you not black? And ultimately it comes down to drawing an arbitrary line. Now the line that I draw is based on experience. I have a lot of shared experiences with black people. I have the experience of blackness that aligns with many, many black people, and so I refer to myself as black because that is my experience. Obviously, my experiences are not exactly the same as people who have darker skin than me or who've grown up with both black parents in that sort of culture, but there are differences amongst like all black people, and so I think it's perfectly fine to include mixed race people in that. It makes more sense than excluding them and putting us all in our own little category of our own, because there's a lot of differences between us, you know? There's a difference between me, who is sort of half and half, and someone who is 75% black and 25% something else. There's a difference between me, who is black and white, and someone who is black and, I don't know, South Asian, right? There are differences between people within that umbrella group of mixed race. And so saying, no, you can all be your own thing, like, why? We have all of these shared experiences of blackness, and you're just keeping us out for arbitrary reasons, really. So it's really interesting to me when people use this as a, I'm not going to listen to you because you're not black, or you're not black, or they try and do that sort of stuff. It's interesting to me when they do that, because at this point in my life, I'm comfortable and confident in being black and being mixed race and being technically also white as well. So, you know, you tell me I'm not black is not going to make me any less black, you know? Like, it's not going to stop the racism that I get, so fuck off. And that's not to say that racism is the only defining factor of blackness and the black experience. Obviously, it's not. It's one that people often talk about, which is why I brought it up there. But there are tons of other things, like my hair. My hair isn't anything really like any of my white friends. But even beyond that, there are so many other things that come into it. And I don't think it makes much sense to exclude me from blackness because you don't feel that I am black enough by blood, you know? It just doesn't make all that much sense to me when my experiences align more with blackness than they don't, if that makes sense. I'm gonna put this in entirely abysmal just because it's drawing from a place that I think is really sucky, you know, and doesn't really consider what race is. It's just a very sort of thoughtless in-group, out-group kind of response. The next one we've got is, I would literally fund your channel if you did a single debate with one person like Joe Rogan who disagrees with you, or better yet, Ben Shapiro. I know you like to rag on him as well. Okay, so the Joe Rogan thing, you know Joe Rogan? I have said before, I don't have huge issues with Joe Rogan. I think he's irresponsible, and that is my main issue. I think he's irresponsible with his platform. And yet his fans think that me debunking the stuff he says about vaccines and saying that the things that he said are not factual and are irresponsible, they think that means that I hate him, and I find that quite funny. But yes, debates. That is what these people think is the only way to sort of settle who is right and who is wrong. But debates are not the best determinants of truth, are they? You can win a debate and be absolutely wrong if you're better at debating than the person you're going up against. If you have not researched enough for the specifics of that debate, you could lose despite the fact that you are entirely correct in your position. Debates are not a perfect tool for determining who is right and who is wrong. Especially public and online debates that are for entertainment. That's what they are! They're entertainment, my guy! You're watching something that is made to entertain you, and yes, it's made to sort of radicalize you as well, or draw you over to one side, or draw you away from another side, and give you some information on some things like that, but it's entertainment. That's what debate is. It's blood sports, man. It's like wrestling at times. It's not there to say who is right and who is wrong. I could go up into a debate with Ben Shapiro and appear to lose it and still be right. I could go up in a debate debate against anyone and lose or win. That doesn't mean that I am right or wrong. That is just not what debates are for. That's not what debates do. They can be so many things, but they are not the absolute be-all and end-all best way of determining who is right on a certain subject. I think the best thing a debate can do is determine who is good at debating. That is what you're getting out of a debate, knowing who is better at debating. Although that's not necessarily true, because someone that's worse at debating could win based on the merit of the position that they have. That can potentially happen as well. My point is that because there are confounding factors in debates, winning a debate is not an automatic determinant of being correct. But I'll happily debate Joe Rogan. I'll happily go on the Joe Rogan show. I'll happily debate Ben Shapiro or Stephen Crowder. Sure, I'll do it. They're never gonna have me on, but if I was asked to go on the Joe Rogan show, of course I would. I would like to sit down and have a chat with Joe Rogan about what I think about him. Oh my lord. Okay, so where are we putting this one? Yeah, definitely boring, please try harder, because your only solution to I disagree with this person being challenge the guy that I like to a debate. That is boring, and you need to try harder. What I love is that they're saying that I should debate those people. Like, you debate them. You debate them. Like, okay, why don't I debate you? You don't debate me? Why can't you debate me if you're so correct? Like, the next one is one that's kind of come up already, but it's one of my favorites. Its nose rings looked horrid in the 90s. They still do. This one is completely unfunny, I think. It's just, there's no joke there. It's just, they looked bad in the 90s, and they still do. Okay, you don't like them. That's fine. I do. We can do things to our own bodies without affecting each other, you know? If I like how it looks and you don't like how it looks, then you don't need to get a nose ring. That's fine. I'll just wear my nose ring and be chuffed with it, and you can sit there seething about what a man you don't know has done to his body. Deary me, it's just so silly how many people just unironically want to insult how someone else looks or how someone else chooses to present, because it's not affecting you. You think that it doesn't look good? That doesn't mean that it doesn't look good. That's subjective, my guy. The next one says, vaccines are good, says the weird feminine guy, fake laughing. Sounds good to me then. This one is quite funny to me because, again, it's someone calling me feminine, and I have no issue with that. I don't really think I'm all that feminine. Like, I look at myself. I'm looking at myself right now. I have a little bit of facial hair. It's not very feminine. Short hair. My face isn't, I mean... It seems to me that people think feminine is an insult, and so they use it, and I wouldn't mind being feminine, you know? I don't mind it. I just don't understand what these people mean when they say that I'm feminine. Like, what do you mean? Also, the fake laughing thing, that comes up a lot. I think I'm funny, man. I laugh. I'm sorry that you think my laugh is fake. This is what it says. That's what it sounds like. I also think that a lot of the things that I talk about in my videos are just ridiculous. Like, the people that I'm reacting to, I find them ridiculous, and that makes me laugh. So I laugh a lot in my videos. And some people evidently don't like that, but okay. I don't know what to say to hate comments like this. Okay. Okay. But also, you know, the scientific consensus is that vaccines are good, so it's not just me. You know, not just me. So I'll put that in, did you even try? Because did you even try? Did you even try? The next one is, you have a weak constitution about you, which immediately, solid, genuinely hilarious. I just love it. Why would you DM someone saying you have a weak constitution about you? That is... hilarious to me. You've got a weak constitution. It's such a good insult. Like, of all the things people would say about me, having a weak constitution is just, I don't think it's one that people would use, especially given that the problem that these people seem to have with me is that I talk about my views on a public platform and they don't like my views. What about that is weak in constitution? Surely that's a strong constitution. Yeah, I don't care. Like, I don't care. It's just funny. It's just funny to me, man. Nearing the end here. Man, your shit sucks. It's time to stop posting. This is one of my favorite kinds of comments. I think they are actively fucking hilarious. Solid, genuinely hilarious, because stop watching. Stop watching. If you don't like what I make, stop watching. I'm not gonna stop posting. Just stop watching. Oh my god. What it tells me is that people are like, I hate you so much, I don't even want to think that you are putting stuff out there. It's not even saying that what I'm making is harmful or dangerous to people. It's always like, I don't like what you're doing, so you should stop. It's such snowflake behavior. It's so funny. They can choose to not watch, and yet sometimes there are genuinely people who keep up with my content, who watch it consistently to tell me to stop, which is just almost a compliment, because clearly what I'm making is so engaging that you can't help but come back for more even though you hate it. It's like fucking crack to you, isn't it? It feels very pathetic to me to just demand that someone stop making something that you personally dislike. And again, not something you think is harmful or dangerous, just something that you don't personally enjoy. Oh my god, it's so funny to me. This next one, I've actually spoken to. So I don't know if the video has come out yet or whether it's coming out soon, but I actually called the person that left these messages because he left me these messages along with a bunch of other messages and sent them every month, only missing out a couple months there, and he continued way into 2022 with this as well. And it's not just these messages, he was calling me. He was calling me, wanting me to pick up, and so I did a video where I called it. So where does this one go? I have to commend the dedication here. I really do. I can't put this in Did You Even Try or Boring Please Try Harder, because while it is boring, it's the same thing over and over, and he's clearly upping the ante here with the all caps at the end. I can't help but feel like it shows dedication, but it's not very funny. Oh god. I mean, actually it's kind of funny. It's actually kind of funny that this guy's doing it so consistently, and having spoken to him, oh my god, is it funnier. Okay, we're on to the last one now. This is from the same person, but I want to class it differently because they were sent at different times, and this was the first lot of messages that I was sent shortly before being called. Who calls someone they don't like on Instagram? Oh my god, here it is. You were a fucking pussy and annoying AF. Please stop making videos, they fucking suck. Imagine being named Corey. Like, boy, I ought to slap the bricks out of you. God, you are a pussy. Deary me, where is this? This is solid, genuinely hilarious, I think. So, looking at the tier list, it's all done. It's all put together, and it worries me how high I have ranked so many of these. A third of them I genuinely find funny, which is such a massive change to a few years ago. So I'm very glad I'm now in this place where hate comments are funny to me, I guess. Well, that's it for the video. Let me know if you want me to do more tier lists. I might do them on stream as well, even if that's something that interests you. But let me know down in the comments. And I think that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please check out my Patreon. You can see my patrons going past there. Thank you to all of them. Please check out my social media, like my Instagram, my Twitter, my TikTok, all of that sort of stuff. You could leave a one-time donation at PayPal as well if you want. PayPal.me/notcorry. Check out my merch, all of that stuff, blah, 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 blah. But also, big thanks to my patrons, my very special patrons. Thank you to Ataraxia25, Maxwell17, Danito, and Brad the Music Duck. That is all from me. Goodbye.